Freddy? You ready, Freddy? Come on. Come on, Freddy. Get up. You ready? All right. Get in your spot, Jack. Get in your spot. All right. You ready? All right. Let's do this. Newsroom time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the NANTICOKE Newsroom with your host, Bob Kalinowski, and my loyal co-host and everybody's favorite cat in northeastern Pennsylvania, Jack the Cat. Today, instead of it being just the NANTICOKE Newsroom, we are calling this edition the Honeypot Newsroom. And why is that? Just about a week ago, there was a devastating fire in the Honeypot section of Nanticoke. A double block house was consumed. A house next door caught on fire. A car next door caught on fire. And this all prompted the mountainside to catch on fire, prompting brush fires that endangered houses. It could have been a lot worse. If not for the bravery and the hard work of Nanticoke Fire Department and their allies who rushed to the scene. So as always, thanks for tuning in to your most trusted source of real, fake news. That's what we do here. And while I say that, I might as well get this off my chest. We have to give a satire warning finally at the NANTICOKE Newsroom. Everything I say here is almost a complete joke, and that's the whole point of it. I say it's a whimsical and comedic look at the real world. And that's what Nanticoke's all about. Anyhow, I have a bunch of photos and videos that didn't make the paper when I wrote the story about this fire. And you know why? Because my phone was dead the entire day I was there. I was tethered to people's houses. I'm like, can I please use your outdoor electrical socket to charge my phone? And I'm like tethered to aluminum siding the whole day because my phone was dead. So I don't even know if I was sending the videos and photos back to the newsroom, if they're getting there because my phone kept dying. So here's some of the videos and photos that maybe didn't make the cut because I don't know if they made it through email or text to the newsroom. And as I said, it was a very brutally hot day, dry, humid, and a big thank you to the firefighters and the first responders once again. Again, that fire prompted today's Honeypot Newsroom, first ever edition of the Honeypot Newsroom. And so today, well actually, this week, I returned to the scene of the fire, returned to Honeypot. Jack, come here. Are you fired? And I took Jack on assignment with me. And he rarely goes on assignment with me, but I think he really enjoyed it. Come here, buddy. Come on, they want to see you, not me. Okay. Hey, everybody, here back at the scene of last week's fire in Honeypot. As you can see, this place is condemned. I can't believe it hasn't been knocked down yet. And surprisingly, for the people of Glen, Lyon, this house actually looks better than a lot of houses in Glen, Lyon. They're still occupied. Also, it looks like this house was for sale, so as we say in the real estate world, this might be a fixer-upper. Okay, everybody, I'm actually very sympathetic to house fires. From my first early days as a newspaper reporter, I watched people's houses burn, and it was very devastating. You knew they lost everything. But I also know that and think that within reason, you can almost joke about everything. So, if there's anything I could do to help these people who lost this house in that fire, I'd be all ears. But I also want to let people know this thing's still under investigation, so we don't know how it happened, why it happened. So that's left to be determined yet. So I always say Honeypot is like its own world, and it like really is. It's totally isolated from Nanticoke proper. Basically one way in, one way out. It's a circle. And I also call it a huge maze. Like whoever designed Honeypot was like smoking something. And you only go to Honeypot if you need to go to Honeypot. It's not a pass-through place. It's a destination. I don't know if people vacation there, but it's probably not that bad. So let's talk about the difference between Honeypot and Glen, Lyon. First, I love Honeypot. Know why? because it's a part of Nanticoke. It's not one of those Newport Township places like Glen, Lyon. Alrighty, we are entering the lovely village of Honeypot. Do not blink or you're gonna miss it. And I have a love-hate relationship with Glen, Lyon, as you all know. But all I got is love for Honeypot. In fact, I really need somebody to make me a shirt like this that says, I love Honeypot. Because when I was doing a Nanticoke Newsroom in the early days of the COVID pandemic, somebody sent this shirt to me in the mail at my house after I designed this shirt in an earlier edition. It was great. People were sending me stuff like crazy in the mail during the COVID pandemic. So I think somebody needs to make me an updated shirt that says something like this. I love Honeypot. Hey, Jack, come here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So when I was leaving Honeypot the other day, the day of the fire, I ran into a former Times Leader reporter, Dave Weiss, who's now a Nanticoke mailman. Good friend of mine, despite working for the Times Leader back in the day. And I asked him, do you think Honeypot has good surveillance? And he knew exactly what I was talking about. I was not talking about security surveillance cameras. And he's like, the first thing he said, he goes, 20 years ago, every old lady in his town would have known what happened at a house before the cops did. So that made me think of a really funny meme I always see on Facebook, the old UK, US versus Poland type of surveillance. Again, UK, USA, surveillance cameras. Poland, the Babcias with the eyes from the sky. Their own eyes, not surveillance cameras. So I doctored this meme a little bit to add Honeypot under the Poland, and I got some really hilarious comments on Facebook. Susan Dudinsky, if that's how you pronounce it, she says, back in the day, the Honeypot Babcias could put the FBI to shame. Trine Mush, which I think is Patrina Mashallah from high school, she's like, Bocce will get him. You can't spell bocce without the CIA. And I've always spelled bocce that way, B-A-B-C-I-A. So I'm glad we're on the same page there. And Joanna Habib Zarnecki, probably perhaps the funniest one, says, hey, we grew up behaving because God forbid a bocce told our mothers we were misbehaving. By the way, they also watched us kiss our dates goodnight by the door, so we gals made sure goodnight was short and sweet. That's funny. Anyhow, there's really not a lot going on in Honeypot. I'm not sure if there's any businesses. I mean, there might be some contractors and stuff. I mean, there's the Honeypot Club, there's the firehouse, and then a lot of residential houses, and that's about it. But driving into Honeypot, like right at the entrance, there is like this big mountain of pallets, and it says free pallets. So I guess that's a plus if you need to have a bonfire. And the pride of Honeypot probably is someone that is the father of one of my former high school teachers, Steve Bilko. He was a professional baseball player in the 1950s. He was a rock star legend player for the Pacific Coast League. They called him the Babe Ruth of the West Coast. I think I read something that his biographer said this at the time in the 1950s, that Steve Bilko, the professional baseball player, his name was magic here. There was Bilko-mania before Beatlemania. And this is hard to believe, but more people in Los Angeles knew who Bilko was than Marilyn Monroe. That's like a BFD. So that's why Honeypot is like way better than Glen, Lyon. Another reason. Anyhow, the Honeypot fire sparked an idea of mine. We're gonna come out with a Nanticoke Newsroom soundtrack. And it's kind of a combination of this video that I saw. It was on Diane Kilver's page, and Holly Sod commented, and I think Diane's husband Dale also commented something about catfish, because the helicopter was coming and scooping water out of the Susquehanna River to dump water on the brush fire at Honeypot. And then Dale said something about catfish, and then Holly said, catfish be falling from the sky in Honeypot. So I really think that's the first song we're going to record on the Honeypot or the Nanticoke Newsroom soundtrack, catfish be falling from the sky in Honeypot. So that's a show, that's a review, that's a wrap, that's the Honeypot Newsroom, and Jack's gone. So we're gonna set Anna up for success as we always do. Anna, take it away!
To the people of Nanticoke Newsroom, stay safe out there.